You're watching France24. It's time now for our daily look through the international papers. Gallagher Fenwick joins me in the studio. Good morning, Gallagher. Let's start with that tragic plane crash in Phuket, Thailand. What does the Thai press make of it?
Well, the Bangkok Post basically admits that it's writing the paper as rescue efforts are still underway, so it gives the basic facts. 130 people on board, nearly half of them foreigners. The crash was probably due to bad weather conditions, reducing the visibility of the pilot, but there really is no particular insistence on the fact that it involved a low-cost, low-budget airline.
Is that point picked up on other papers around the world?
Yeah, it is actually. The Jerusalem Post really tackles this issue right away in the article, and I quote it: "The accident is likely to raise fresh questions about the safety of budget airlines in Southeast Asia, which have burgeoned in the past few years." So it does remind readers that this is the first instance involving a low-budget airline in Thailand, a crash in Thailand, but there have been many others in neighboring Indonesia. The article also describes the sort of amazing efforts unleashed by the Israeli authorities who were present right there to help their citizens. So it's just an indication of the amount of Israelis who probably sojourn in Thailand. Just to give you an idea, 4,000 Israelis on the day of the crash called the crisis room in Thailand's government to find out whether they had any relatives there.
Meanwhile, the Australian press is focusing on the world's luckiest man, I think.
Exactly, sort of an uncanny look at this tragic event. The Herald Sun, an Australian daily, found the mother of a survivor. The man actually has already survived the tsunami. She recounts the conversation she had with him. She called him up. He was at the hospital. She tells him, "Listen, I'm all right. My legs are partially burned." And listen to her reply. She says, "Well, in that case, I'm coming up, because if I don't like the look of your legs, you're going to be back on the plane to Perth." So just, sort of absurd, but very caring at the same time.
Absolutely. Mothers never change the world over, do they? Well, let's go to the rugby team, the rugby papers. You promised us a look at the French victory, Gallagher.
Exactly. And the title in L'Équipe, the French sports daily, is "La vie en rose at last." Sort of a jubilant article. The journalist reminds readers that France still needs to confirm this coming Friday against Ireland. But in the meantime, he really wants the players to be able to enjoy this victory. Everybody was expecting it, but we saw what we had been waiting for up to here, which is sort of the French flair and players taking pleasure and sort of letting go of the immense pressure they've been under up to here. So this was really about pleasure, especially with 8 players from Toulouse on the pitch in Toulouse.
Absolutely. Well, finally, very quickly, Gallagher, tell us about Russia.
Andrei Lugovoy, I don't know if you remember who he is. He's the former KGB agent who was accused of having murdered Litvinenko in London. He's wanted by British authorities. He's just announced he's about to run for legislative elections in December in Russia. 2 things. This will give him political immunity if he's elected, but that doesn't really matter because Russia has already announced it does not extradite its citizens. And secondly, it's just a really outrageous Russian story. He's replacing a man who's defecting to another party after having shot a soft porn story involving, a lookalike of Mikhail Saakashvili, the Georgian president, and the Ukrainian Yulia Tymoshenko.
So check that out in the Moscow Times. Thank you very much indeed, Gallagher Fenwick, for that press review. Stay tuned to France24.